The grand final of the Strong Style Showdown is upon us as two men will battle to add their names to the history books of our most prestigious tournament to date. Not only that, but we find out the identity of the masked men that have been assisting Shun Skywalker on recent shows as the new faction seeks to take over Strong Style Americas for years to come, and who can stop them. And if you want to see this series become a weekly thing, be sure to drop a like on this video as we look for 400 likes. Head over to the Patreon where you can play along yourself and download the save files from various points in this series, and head over to tewdb.com if you haven't already and buy TEW IX using the banner at the top of the site. It's time for the continuation of the Strong Style Showdown 2029, which is the 5th annual edition of the tournament. And in the last episode we saw 5 qualification matches to advance through to the eliminator round, and today we're going to see the remaining 5 plus the eliminator round and the grand final. Now of course the eliminator round will be a 6-man elimination match with everybody starting in the ring at the same time, and if somebody manages to eliminate their respective champion in their division, they will earn a championship match at Strong Style 60, our biggest show yet. And whoever wins the match itself will advance through to the grand final. So there is a potential for somebody today to earn a championship match and a spot in the grand final, and ultimately could become the winner of the whole thing. So let's break down tonight's card. And we're going to open up with a dark match once again involving Kenny Omega, and this time he's going to be going up against Jackson Drake as we try and get that ring rust off of Kenny before having his final match at Strong Style 60. We have a commentary breakdown to then open up the main show before Eagle Blanc takes on Roosh in a qualifier in the junior heavyweight side of things. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. takes on fellow Big Lucha wrestler El Texano Jr. Myung Jae Lee of Propaganda takes on Zandokan Jr. of Big Lucha. Claudio Castagnoli comes in to take on Malachi Black. And in the main event, Kevin Blackwood will take on LJ Cleary with the Junior Heavyweight Championship on the line, with the opportunity to enter the eliminator round as champion. And then we end the show with a segment that I won't say anything more other than the broken hearts are coming. So let's get into the show then and not waste any more time and see how the ratings pan out. And we open up with that dark match as Kenny Omega has defeated Jackson Drake in 7 minutes 13, so not too long, by pinfall with a V trigger, and Kenny there with a 45 performance, so pretty decent, and actually on par with him is Jackson Drake with a 45. And considering Kenny Omega is still rusty, that is a good showing from him, and hopefully we can see a few more matches under his belt before he is forced to retire due to his body health. And he's still got that ring rust today, but maybe this could be the last time that we see that. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll keep going with dark matches until it has disappeared. And again, he has picked up a win tonight over one of our rising stars. And I picked somebody with low psychology to go against Kenny tonight, so he can kind of pick up some psychology skills from the cleaner. But let's carry on then after we have this 49 rated match, and we're going to open up the main show with the commentary team, and they break down the dynamics of tonight's matches with a focus on the 301-day reign of Kevin Blackwood as Strong Style Junior Heavyweight Champion. He has a tough defense against former champion LJ Cleary tonight, with the winner advancing through as champion to the eliminator round of the Strong Style Showdown. There, they will have a target on their back, as if somebody manages to eliminate them from the multi-man match, they will earn themselves a shot at the title at Strong Style 60, regardless of the winner. And we've got a lot of greens here for the commentary team. CM Punk, Brent Backlund and Ultramantis Black taking us to an 81 rated segment here, with Kevin Blackwood and LJ Cleary being off screen for this one. And yeah, really good performance there from all 3 men as they hype up tonight's main event and the rest of the card. And we've got an 81 performance overall, as I say, and a really good strong start to the show, and that should definitely help our show rating tonight. But let's move on to the matches themselves then, as we first have Roosh defeat Eagle Blanc in 15 minutes 06 by pinfall after he used underhanded tactics to gain the victory. And we have the first qualification of the night as Roosh advances through to the junior heavyweight side of the eliminator round. And overall, in terms of performance, we picked the right winner, with Rouge having a 65 performance, with Aigle Blanc getting a 52, as the now two exclusive talents to us put on a 66 rated match. So pretty decent from both men there, as we move on to a 60 rated match this time, as El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. has advanced through to the Strong Style Showdown Eliminator round into the heavyweight side, as he has defeated fellow Big Lucha superstar El Texano Jr. in 10 minutes 03, using the best moonsault ever. And El Texano there on his debut, picking up a 50 performance, so not too bad. And he also had a great for his gimmick of the El Gabacho de Oro gimmick. I'm sure I pronounced that right. And Dr. Wagner Jr. as well got a 58, so pretty good from him. As we move on then to the junior heavyweight side of things once again, and we've actually found some great chemistry, which is always good to see, as this time another Big Lucha star has advanced through to the Eliminator round, this time the junior heavyweight side, as Zandokan Jr. has defeated Myung-Jae Lee in 4 minutes 41 by pinfall, illegally using the ropes for leverage. So Zandokan cheating to get the win, much like Rouge did earlier on in the night, getting a 69 performance in the process, definitely helped by that chemistry, of course. And Myung-Jae Lee, likely with the best performance of his career so far in the company. I can't confirm that, but I would assume that due to the chemistry, with a 57. And overall, a 60 is solid enough, but I think we do need to start picking up some better match ratings as we head towards tonight's main event. And we do get a better performance this time with a 69, which is always nice, as Malachi Black has defeated Claudio Castagnoli in 11 minutes 40 with a black mass, and pinning him 1, 2, 3. And Claudio there with a 64, actually the man of the match, outperforming Malachi, who got a 60. But nonetheless, Malachi is of course under contract with us. Claudio has came in as a really strong, credible competitor for Malachi to beat on his way to the Strong Style Eliminator. And Claudio there with a wrestling machine gimmick, which got a great, so that's good to see. And we will see more of him this tour. But as I say, 69 overall, as things hopefully start to pick up as we move towards tonight's main event, which got a 78, which is much better, as we have great wrestling and good heat in tonight's main event, as Kevin Blackwood has defeated LJ Cleary in 13 minutes 55 by pinfall with a running knee strike, and that strike has put LJ Cleary to sleep and has allowed Kevin Blackwood to make defense number 8 of his Strong Style Junior Heavyweight title. And Blackwood there with a 77 performance, and not too far behind him is LJ Cleary with a 75, and the pretty good chemistry between the two has definitely helped tonight's rating, as did the fact that the title was on the line, helping us get a 78 main event. And this, combined with our best promo of the night, which was of course the commentary breakdown, should help us kind of hopefully get a mid-70s rating, maybe a low 70s depending on how much the lower match ratings elsewhere has brought us down. But we do have one more segment of the night which got a 62, as Kevin Blackwood stands above LJ Cleary holding his belt high in the air, but suddenly strobe lights fill the arena as a familiar maniacal laugh can be heard over the speaker system. On the big screen, Shun Skywalker appears, stood in a dark room, but behind him are 4 masked figures. The masks have bright neon glowing broken hearts for eyes, with their mouths sewn shut. And Shun speaks and he says, "Kevin, you broke my heart, you stole my prize. The pain still lingers in my eyes. We'll drown your throne with shattered cries. Hate will fall and love will rise. The broken hearts are coming and they adore me." And an unbearable screech can then be heard as the maniacal laugh continues, forcing the crowd and Kevin Blackwood to cover their ears as the strobe lights stop, as Kevin Blackwood looks around cautiously. And the Revenge of Skywalker storyline has advanced with this segment and gained heat, which is great to see, as we get a 62 decent rating to end the show there. And Kevin Blackwood is also getting better at his gimmick, but the main point of this is that Shun Skywalker has not forgotten that heartbreak that he suffered when he lost to Kevin Blackwood for the Junior Heavyweight Championship. He got some revenge when he laid out Tyler Bate on his way out of the company. The masked individuals would then lay out the rest of hate, and that quest for Shun Skywalker is only getting started tonight. And let's see how we did overall then for the rating, as we got a 68, so I was expecting a little bit more, but I suppose it does make sense. We've got a lot of 60s there, 66 and a 62 ending segment. So yeah, I suppose it's fair enough, although I hoped that the main event would have more of an impact. But maybe we should start looking towards the main event spotlight product, where most of the show rating comes from that main event, and yeah, maybe we'll look at that moving forward. But for now, I'll take it. We've increased in popularity in 44 regions, and of course we did have the production hits as well, which didn't help things. But we will go to the financial report, where we have made a profit despite it not being as much as it could be, and I think the attendance was once again a sellout of the Coliseum there. But of course, for whatever reason, our attendance is down this month. I'm not entirely sure why, but it's something we're just going to have to deal with until next month. But the money is still ticking in, which is good to see. And it's not going to be a revolutionary month when it comes to finances by any means, but I'll take it. And we have gone up in the southeast as well, which is one of the regions that we need to get pushed up, ready for the next size. So that's good to see as we edge closer, hopefully, towards that at some point in the next couple of years. But slow and steady wins the race, and I'm sure we'll get there soon enough. But now let's continue on then and see if anything happens between now and night 3 of the Road to Strong Style Showdown. So let's go forward. And not only was the rating down from a 71 to a 78 compared to night 1, we are slightly down on viewership as well. So in terms of total viewers, we had about 3,000 less, but that's not too bad. And hopefully we can see the actual Strong Style Showdown event become our most viewed event. If we take a look, this one here, as that will be the first time that we've held a major show on our broadcaster since the recent upgrade last month, or this month I think, because that's why we've lost so much money. Okay, so we have actually stopped, and it has been confirmed that WWE have made an offer for both Kazuchika Okada and Adam Page. So there's a bidding war now for both men between WWE and AEW, and that will be one to track in the coming days. So I'll keep an eye on that and let you know how that turns out. But let's continue on and see how that pans out. And we do have 4 days until the show, so I'll probably join you when the show starts. Right, so we are on the day of the show then, and back to what we were talking about before. Kazuchika Okada has agreed an extension with AEW, so he's going to be staying there instead of jumping to WWE. However, Adam Page still hasn't made his decision, and I can't get onto the negotiation screen to see which way he's sort of leaning, and I can't see what their offer is, but I'm sure we'll find out by the end of this episode. But anyway, we do have tonight the Road to Strong Style Showdown Night 3. Before tomorrow night, we've got the final show of the tour, which will be the Strong Style Showdown. The first time that we've actually held an event of that name. And we renamed the kickoff show, which we used to run before the showdown, this time turning it into the finale. So yeah, we'll get into that tomorrow night, but first let's get into the final Road 2 show of the tour. And we won't be giving anybody the night off, and for venue we're expecting in and around the same sort of attendance as we've had for the rest of this month. So we're once again going to return to the Cowtown Coliseum and just sell this out hopefully 3 nights in a row. So let's select this venue, and for broadcasters we're going to use all. And for booking team meeting, I remember to add Chris Brooks on this time, so let's grab a creative finish. And this one's a big gamble, and we're going to discard that, I think. And I'm actually going to grab a angle idea as well, because there's going to be some angles on this tour going forward. And we've got one for Viano Free Jr., so that may come in handy at some point. And finally, I think I'm going to grab a storyline idea and hopefully give one of our storylines a boost. And this one must include Shun Skywalker, so I guess we'll apply this to the Revenge of Skywalker storyline. So we'll go and do that in just a second. And I might actually even save that for later on down the line. And yeah, actually, I'm going to do that. But Killer Kelly and Aubrey Edwards were getting on backstage, apparently, which is good. And LJ Cleary's been training with Brent Backlund once again. And that's all for incidents. And as for addressing the locker room, we're going to save Inspire potentially for tomorrow night. Although, if I use it tomorrow, I'm not sure whether we'll have one ready for Strong Style 60. I think actually it comes back every 3 months. So I'll do the maths on that. But for now, we're going to save it, do some meddling once again, and try and heal the wounds between CM Punk and Kenny Omega once again. I think this is the 3rd time they've sat down in the same room, and pretty sure it's not going to do anything, but I don't really feel like doing anything else at the minute. So we might as well try. and see if we can get those two on the same page, or at least not disliking each other. And let's actually see if there's any movement on that. We'll go to CM Punk and personal details, and only strong style relationships. Yeah, there's still a strong dislike between him and Kenny Omega, but hopefully down the line that can heal. But yeah, I'm not going to get my hopes up for that one. But anyway, tonight we do have both eliminator matches for the Strong Style Showdown, which will put us in a position to set up the final for that final show tomorrow night. So let's book the card. Tonight's show should be pretty interesting then, and it's finally all in the books. But we're going to start off with the graphic for the Strong Style Showdown as we break down, first up, the heavyweight eliminator match. Now, Eric Hammer enters the match as the heavyweight champion, and if somebody manages to eliminate him, that person will then earn themselves a championship match at Strong Style 60. Now, the retirement clause that's attached to Eric Hammer's career only applies tonight to pinfall and submission. So, if somebody pins or submits Hammer, he will retire, the belt will be vacated, and then we'll work out how we find a new champion from there. Although there is a new way to eliminate somebody from this match that we're going to find out later on. But then we've got Alex Kane in the match, the man that lost the heavyweight championship to Eric Hammer, and I'm sure he'll be looking for revenge tonight. And we've also got Big Lucha's El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., Ryan Davidson, the proud Texan, is also in the match, as is Malachi Black, who's still looking to make a big impact on the roster since his debut in the promotion and has been fairly successful when it comes to matches, but he's looking to take that next step into the main event scene, and so is Yuma Ayagi, and we're on a quest to make him the international megastar and try and replicate his overness from Japan into the United States, so we can try and get some of those top performances that we know he can put on. And that is for the heavyweight side of things, but what about the juniors? As Kevin Blackwood, of course, goes in as the junior heavyweight champion, and again, same rules apply. If somebody can eliminate him by any means, they will earn themselves a championship match at Strong Style 60, our biggest show yet. And he has two rivals in this one, and first up, long-term rival Viano Free Jr., who has a storied history with Blackwood throughout Strong Style Americas, and of course he is a former champion in his own right. Also in the match is Shun Skywalker, who is still looking to seek his revenge on Kevin Blackwood, so will that continue tonight? We will find out. LJ Cleary is actually in this one, and he has replaced Zandokan Jr., who hasn't been able to make it tonight, and I took a bit of a gamble by having big lucha guys in the matches to begin with, and yeah, unfortunately Zandokan is at Big Lucha, so he has been replaced by former champion LJ Cleary, who was unsuccessful in the qualification round, losing to the champion Blackwood in that championship match, but he has another opportunity tonight. And I've chosen to include him instead of the other people that lost in the qualifiers because he is a former champion and I feel has the best resume out of the bunch. And also, speaking of former champions, Pac is also in the match, of course, after qualifying himself, as is Roosh, who is also looking to hit the main event scene in Strong Style Americas. But what about elsewhere on the card then? And we're actually going to open up with a dark match, once again including Kenny Omega as we try and get rid of that ring rust, but tonight he will be taking part in tag team action, teaming with Chris Brooks to take on Matt Riddle and Adam Priest, so two babyfaces going up against two heels tonight in what should be a pretty decent dark match, and that will be our technical masterclass for the night. We then open up with, of course, a commentary breakdown before we go into the heavyweight eliminator, which will be the first match of the night, before we go into a backstage segment that's titled People Like Us, so we'll find out what that is a bit later on, before we go to the main event, which will be the Showdown Junior Heavyweight Eliminator, before we go to some post-match scenes there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how we get on tonight. And a lot of things that I've kind of slowly been building towards will start to take shape tonight, and it's a pretty big show in terms of the lore of the company. So let's get into it then, and I'm excited to see how this goes, and I think it should be pretty decent, especially with that main event which has a creative finish on it. So let's find out, and we've got a 65 opening dark match, which is pretty good, and we've got no warnings about Kenny Omega ring rust, so that's good to see, as he and Chris Brooks have defeated Matt Riddle and Adam Priest in 14 minutes 47 when Omega pinned Priest with a V trigger, and Chris Brooks carried the match apparently with a 71 performance, which is good, and Omega got a 55, so on par with Matt Riddle there, and Adam Priest got a 49. So not amazing from the cleaner there, but good enough for what we need him for. And he's mainly here for his popularity and not necessarily what he can do in the ring anymore at this stage of his career. But yeah, as I say, he is a marquee name to put on the poster, and Kenny Omega is now ready to head towards Strong Style 60, where he will be in action, and we've got him heated up nicely, ready for that. And also worth pointing out that we have sold out the Cowtown Coliseum once again tonight, so that's good to see. But let's go to the commentary breakdown then, where the commentary team breaks down tonight's card and the huge Strong Style Showdown eliminator matches that will be held tonight. The winner of each match will advance through to the grand final of the Showdown, a match that guarantees to be a mega main event that will see the best of the heavyweight division collide with the best of the junior heavyweight division. Not only that though, as the champions have a target on their back tonight, as whoever eliminates them will earn a championship match at Strong Style 60, and for the first time ever, elimination can happen by throwing a participant over the top rope as long as both feet touch the floor. This on top of the pinfall and submission rules that already apply. And we've got some greens there from Punk and Ultramantis Black, which is nice to see. 75 there for that one, with the three people cutting the promo, of course the commentary, also a mention of Eric Hammer and Kevin Blackwood, who are the champions who were off screen for this one. And 75, as I say, pretty good segment to kick things off, and hopefully the matches can hold up as well. And we've got 2 matches tonight, so not too many matches to bring down the overall rating, so I'm hoping for a good show tonight, and yeah, this has got things off to a good start. But we go to the heavyweight side of things then first, and the eliminator round, to find out who, if anybody, will be challenging Eric Hammer for the heavyweight championship at Strong Style 60, or potentially if he will be retiring today, and also who will be advancing through to the grand final. So let's break it down bit by bit then. So starting off then, the first person to be eliminated was by pinfall, and it is Ryan Davidson, who was distracted by former women's champion Miranda Elise, leading to a pinfall from Alex Kane. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. was then pinned by the sinister Dutchman Malachi Black. Then Yuma Ayagi was pinned by the champion Eric Hammer before Alex Kane throws Eric Hammer over the top rope, which allows Malachi Black to sneak up from behind, taking him out with a black mass to the face, which knocks him into the ropes, and then Malachi Black lifts the former champion over the top rope, securing his place in the grand final of the Strong Style Showdown. So we have our first finalist confirmed then, as Malachi Black advances, and he will meet the winner of tonight's junior heavyweight eliminator. And in terms of performances though, let's break it down, as Eric Hammer got a 54, so the champion who isn't retiring tonight because he was thrown over the top rope got a 54. Alex Kane got a 61, so he has dropped quite a bit in terms of performances since losing the title, so hopefully we can get him cooking again with some momentum and a boost in popularity hopefully going forward. Ryan Davidson got a 62, so slightly ahead, as was Malachi Black with a 63. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. got a 64, and man of the match was the international megastar and somebody we are cooking up, ready to be potentially the guy of this division, Yuma Ayagi, who got a 71, but unfortunately for him, that won't be tonight. And the one last fight storyline has advanced, which is between Eric Hammer and Alex Kane. So that match will be happening at Strong Style 60, where Alex Kane is looking to get back his heavyweight championship and also end the career of Eric Hammer. And the Taking Over Texas storyline, which involves Marshall Von Erich and Ryan Davidson, has also continued due to the interference from Miranda Elise. And overall, we get a 66. As we go backstage, where Marshall Von Erich is shown sitting on a production crate backstage in street clothes. He says that he's asked for some time on the show to send a message to the heavyweight division before declaring that his family legacy has been filled with tragedy and careers being cut short. But he says that as the new head of the family, he will make sure that the Von Erich legacy will be remembered as a story that was revived by Marshall Von Erich. While he didn't make the Strong Style Showdown eliminator tonight, he guarantees that he will make his mark on the heavyweight division in time for Strong Style 60. Miranda Elise can then be seen walking past in the background, who overhears Marshall, so it seems that there's been no sort of communication between the two just yet, despite what happened in the match, and then she turns and smiles at him before interrupting his speech. She tells him, "Movies are made about people like us." before walking away. And Von Erich seems intrigued by Elise as he tells the cameraman to cut the tape. And yeah, I've been wanting to do a storyline between these two for some time now, and it's finally taking shape. And at the minute, Marshall is very much on the babyface side of things and is trying to just get to the top of the heavyweight division, but there are little hints that he could be turning at some point, and Miranda Elise going forward will no doubt be whispering in his ear to turn to the dark side. So we'll see if that takes place, but for now, a 51 rated segment is pretty good for a Marshall Von Erich promo, but of course we've seen better tonight in that opening segment, but still, it's fine. As we move on into the main event then, and once again, let's break it down, as this time we open up with the order of elimination, where Pac was actually thrown over the top rope first, and the person that did it was LJ Cleary. And this enrages Pac. And this enrages Pac as he runs back into the ring with a steel chair, takes out LJ Cleary. And this allows Shun Skywalker to pick the bones and eliminate him, which leaves in the ring Kevin Blackwood, Viano Free Jr., Shun Skywalker, and Roosh. And once it gets down to the final four, a video plays on the screen which shows Michael Dante and Killer Kelly of Hate lying on the floor unconscious as one of the broken hearts, I guess, masked wrestlers, this time a female, points the camera at the bodies and at herself as she laughs, and it seems that Kevin Blackwood is all alone in the ring against three men who may have an agenda. So let's see how that plays out. And at this point, all three men begin to attack Kevin Blackwood, beating him down, targeting the champion, knowing what's on the line, and that is a championship match at Strong Style 60. And then Roosh and Viano Free Jr. step back, allowing Shun Skywalker to hit the Skywalker moonsault and eliminate Kevin Blackwood and earn himself a number one contender's opportunity at Strong Style 60 before Viano and Roosh then climb over the top rope and eliminate themselves, leaving Skywalker as the winner. And not only is he the number one contender, but Shun Skywalker is heading to the grand final to take on Malachi Black. And we've got some great performances in this match, specifically from Shun Skywalker, who got an 86 and shows why he won this one. And even though the best heavyweight didn't win the heavyweight side of things, we've got the best junior heavyweight and probably the best wrestler in the company right now, at least putting a good fight up against Mayu Iwatani. But in terms of second, we've got Viano Free Jr. with a 79, Kevin Blackwood with a 78, so those two are of course known for their great matches. LJ Cleary though with a 69, so the fourth best in the match, followed by Pac with a 68 and Roosh with a 66. And the Revenge of Skywalker storyline has advanced with this segment and gained heat, and we've got some greens down there as well, resulting in an 81 rated segment. So tomorrow night it will be Shun Skywalker versus Malachi Black, and at Strong Style 60 it will be Alex Kane versus Eric Hammer, and it will be Shun Skywalker versus Kevin Blackwood. That's assuming that those two are still champions by the time that show will come around. But as it stands, those are the two championship matches. And we've also got, of course, Mayu Iwatani taking on Jordan Grace, as Iwatani tries to win the Women's Championship for the first time from the Juggernaut. So I think this card is shaping up to be pretty good, and we're only a couple of months out from that now, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. But as I say, 81 rated match here. Right, so after the match then, Roosh and Viano Free Jr. pin Kevin Blackwood to the mat, holding his arms and legs flat as Shun Skywalker climbs to the top rope. He puts his hand over his heart before hitting a stunning Skywalker moonsault as Blackwood winces in pain. The masked woman that filmed the unconscious Killer Kelly and Michael Dante makes her way to the ring, joining Shun Skywalker, Viano Free Jr. and Roosh in the ring. She goes to take off the mask to reveal her face, but Shun Skywalker stops her and tells her not yet. The group then surrounds Shun as strobe lights fill the arena once again as the unbearable screech can be heard, and Shun then screams, "And they adore me," as the show comes to a close. And once again, the Revenge of Skywalker storyline has advanced with this segment and gained heat. I haven't applied the storyline idea just yet because I'm thinking of keeping it for when the match nearly comes around. I didn't want to mention earlier why I wasn't putting the storyline idea on, but that's why. I want to put it on just before the match happens, and that will give it that little bit more heat heading into it. And yeah, I think we'll do that sort of the show before Strong Style 60. Hopefully I can remember, and hopefully it lasts that long. I might have to double check the dates, but we'll play it by ear anyway. And this segment got a 69, as again, the Revenge of Skywalker storyline has advanced and gained heat, which is great to see. Shun Skywalker came across well. The Viano Free Jr. angle idea was used on this, which we got, I think, earlier in the episode, and it was a success. And we've got a couple of greens there for the commentary and the crowd as well, as we finish off with a 69 rated segment, as we leave with the mystery of who is the masked woman. But we've got another mystery, and that is, how did the show do in terms of ratings? Let's find out, as we get a 70, so I'll definitely take that. And okay, that's weird. Yuma Ayagi was used too much on this show, which shouldn't be the case. I don't think he's unrecognizable at this point, so I don't know why that's happened. And yeah, it's in the middle of sort of what we've been getting for this tour, so it's consistent, but hopefully the blow-off show can be the best show of the tour overall. And we benefited from having a wide selection of angles as well, and of course we got the production penalties. But in terms of popularity, we increased in 44 regions, so I think that excludes the Mid-South. We'll check in just a second. But we did make a profit once again of 54,000, so we've made in and around that every show this tour due to the reduced attendance, which is still a mystery to me. But in terms of popularity recap, we've gone up in the Northwest, New England, Midwest, Mid-Atlantic and Great Lakes, which is good to see. And also we've gone up to 5 all the way across Europe, of course, the homeland. So let's go then to after the show and see if we've got any emails or news that are worth looking at. Okay, so we do have an email of interest, and that is the fact that Adam Page has decided to stay with AEW despite an offer from WWE, so joining Okada in doing exactly that. We also drew 155,000 people in terms of viewership, which is the most viewed night of the tour so far, and I believe the most viewed show in company history. And there you can see all 3 nights of the Road to Strong Style Showdown are the top most viewed shows of all time, as well as Propaganda July 2029, which was this month. So that broadcaster upgrade seems to be 100% worth it, at least in my opinion. And you can see there that the feedback has been great. But that isn't all though, as next up we've got the Strong Style Showdown event itself, where the grand final will be taking place between Shun Skywalker and Malachi Black. And will we see any aftermath from what happened last night? Let's find out. And nobody will be getting the night off because we've got 2 hours of action tonight to fill. And as for venue, we're going to have to go slightly higher than the Cowtown Coliseum, which has been the home to every show of this tour so far. But we're going to be expecting just under 5,000. So I think we're going to sort of aim around the 5,000 mark for a venue. And let's take a look at the options. And I think, yeah, we're going to stay in Texas and we're going to go to the Ector County Coliseum. So it is a Coliseum, but not the one that we've been at for the rest of the tour. So let's go there then and finalize broadcasters and use all of them. So let's go through with that. And the booking team meeting then, let's try and get some more angle ideas. I think we've got more than enough creative finishes. So yeah, we've got another angle idea for Viano Free Jr., so we can use that in an angle that will include Shun Skywalker as well, now that the two are aligned. So let's keep that. And it's a near certainty as well, so that's really good. And we may as well get a character idea as well. And this one's a big gamble, so we will discard that and we'll grab... Actually, we haven't got enough to grab anything else, so we'll leave it for now. And as for locker room incidents, LJ Cleary ran pre-show training drills with Brent Backlund, which is good to see. And that's all for incidents, so nothing major going on there. Now let's think about whether it's time to use an Inspire. So, and I think I said earlier that Strong Style 60 was 3 months away. Now I think I'm actually wrong about that because I've just double checked the schedule on my spreadsheet and it looks like it's going to be September, so it's 2 months away. So if we use this Inspire now, then we won't be able to use it at Strong Style 60, which I would like to do because it's our biggest show yet. So I'm going to hold off using it and try and do something else. In fact, what I'm going to do is some team bonding. Why not? What's the worst that can happen? And we've strengthened the relationship between multiple people. And we've also served new tensions in a few. But I think strengthened relationships slightly outdoes it there. So I suppose it's a success. It's not going to make too much difference, though, I don't think. But we've got a grand final to get to tonight. So let's book that, and I'll put together the rest of the card as well. So see you in a second. Okay, so the card is booked in then, and we do have a yellow bar at the bottom of the screen. This because there's somebody on the card not happy about the result tonight, but it is what it is, and we're going to continue regardless. But as for what the matches will be, we're going to open up with a dark match between Cash Wheeler and Brent Backlund as they'll compete in singles action before we open up the broadcast with a commentary breakdown of tonight's main event. We then open up as the current #1 contender for the heavyweight championship, Alex Kane, takes on Claudio Castagnoli as we look to try and build up Alex Kane heading into that championship match at Strong Style 60, and tonight he takes on a popular, credible competitor. Then we're going to see the return of Steph Delander, who will be taking on Hyan, who is of course a fan favourite on the roster, and Australia's #1 wrestler wants to prove that she is a serious challenger in the women's division tonight. And then we've got a segment called Australia's #1 wrestler as well following that match. We're then going to see Shun Skywalker's new allies, Viano Free Jr. and Roosh, team up to take on a babyface team of Jackson Drake and Eagle Blanc. And really we're just testing out the chemistry between Viano and Roosh as a tag team in case we ever do introduce a men's tag team division, and we could still just have tag team matches anyway, so there's a potential for those two there. And then we have the continuation of the Yuma Ayagi International Megastar storyline as he takes on El Texano Jr. from Big Lucha, and Yuma is looking to pick up yet another win over an international superstar. And then Mayu Iwatani returns to action as she takes on Thunder Rosa in singles action. Again, another #1 contender looking to get some momentum heading into Strong Style 60 before we see the continuation of last night's junior heavyweight eliminator match where LJ Cleary would eliminate Pac before Pac got his revenge with a steel chair on Cleary, allowing Shun Skywalker to eliminate LJ from the match. And we're going to see those two lock horns tonight as they look for revenge on each other. And in the main event, of course, we have the Strong Style Showdown final between the winner of the junior heavyweight eliminator Shun Skywalker taking on the winner of the heavyweight eliminator Malachi Black in what could be arguably our biggest match yet. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that one gets on before we've got some post-match scenes to close the show. So let's run through it then and see how we get on ratings wise, and it should be a good show, and I'm hoping for a good rating after the production penalties. But we'll see as we open up then with a 57 rated match here, and we've got some pretty good chemistry between these two as Cash Wheeler has defeated Brent Backlund in 9 minutes 50 after using a Yakuza kick. And Brent, I think with his best performance yet with a 31, and I think that's the first time he's broken into the 30s for his in-ring performances, so that's good to see. And Cash Wheeler has an in-ring performance of 61 as well. And the creative finish that we used was a success, and yeah, we just helped boost this rating tonight with that creative finish, and I think pretty much every match has one on. I think all of them do, but we'll see as the night rolls on. But for now, a solid dark match as Cash Wheeler picks up a win over the graduate of the Dark Arts Gym. But we move on then to the opening segment of the night, which has got a 73 rating as the commentary team opened the broadcast by discussing tonight's huge main event between Shun Skywalker and Malachi Black. The Dutchman enters the match as a lone wolf, but Shun Skywalker is far from alone as he seems to have gathered a devoted following of some of the best wrestlers in the world. Adding that backing to an already impressive performer, the sky truly is the limit for Shun Skywalker in Strong Style Americas from here on out. With that said, Malachi is somebody with decades of experience in the wrestling business and has what it takes to get the job done against the odds. So yeah, we're just hyping up tonight's main event. The Strong Style Showdown final is set. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes. And overall, we've got a lot of greens and a 73 rated segment, so that's a good start to the show. As we move on now to the first match of the night and gets an 81, so it looks like we're in for a hell of a show if this is a sign of things to come. As Alex Kane has defeated Claudio Castagnoli in 14 minutes 46 in tonight's technical masterclass, and he scored the pinfall there with the mark of Kane, and a huge win for the the #1 contender for the heavyweight championship, over an internationally renowned wrestler. Of course, has been on television with WWE and AEW, and tonight Alex Kane has got a win over the Swiss Superman. And Alex Kane there with a 75 rating, so much better than what we saw in the heavyweight showdown eliminator, and Claudio with a 61, so a solid performance from him as well. And this was no doubt helped by the pretty good chemistry between the two, so we found two good chemistries tonight, and we got a creative finish that was a success as well. So all around a good start to the show. But let's move on then to the next match, which is slightly less with a 61. But in terms of storyline, it's important to give Steph De Lander a win tonight, so she can boast to be Australia's #1 wrestler in the face of Jessica Troy. And yeah, she's defeated Hyan tonight in 10 minutes 03 by pinfall, using the ropes for leverage, of course, as somebody that claims to be the best in the ring would do, of course. And Steph De Lander there with an in-ring performance of 58, better than Hyan, who got a 54. And what happens after the match is more important though, as Steph De Lander celebrates her tainted win before climbing out to ringside, where she pulls a t-shirt from under the ring. She then puts the t-shirt on and it reads Australia's #1 wrestler. As she makes her way to the back though, she shouts into the camera about how Jessica Troy is still in bed at home, mourning her losses in the Women's World Cup, but luckily Australia has a real winner in SD. And the Valiant fight storyline has advanced with this segment and gained heat, and we had Steph De Lander character development, I think, for this one, and Jessica Troy off screen, of course, with her being mentioned in this, continued the storyline with a 55 rated promo. So not too bad in the grand scheme of things, but hopefully we can see some better ratings going forward. And we do get a 68 for the tag match because there was a failed creative finish, which is a shame, and Jackson Drake was off his game as well. But the Broken Hearts, Viano Free Jr. and Roosh have defeated Jackson Drake and Eagle Blanc in 12 minutes 29 when Viano Free Jr. pinned Jackson Drake with a handful of tights. Classic Viano, of course. And Viano there carried the match in terms of in-ring performance with an 81, and Jackson Drake was the weak link with a 41. And Roosh there got a 61, and Eagle Blanc not too far behind with a 60. And I think the deck could have fell for us a bit better tonight in terms of maybe potential chemistry, and of course the creative finish actually working, and Jackson Drake being on his game, but unfortunately those three things didn't happen, and it has affected the ratings slightly, but still solid enough for a mid-card match. But let's move on to the next heavyweight bout, and yeah, not so much luck once again, as this time there's no chemistry between Yuma Ayagi and El Texano Jr. Yuma Ayagi has picked up a good win tonight over El Texano Jr., who is in and around the same popularity range in the Mid-South, as we try and get Yuma's popularity up, as he picks up the win there by pinfall. And 62 overall, I was expecting better, especially from Yuma Ayagi's in-ring performance, and he only got a 56, so a far cry from what he's capable of. But again, they didn't click at all apparently, so that'll be the reason for that. And Texano Jr. there with a 43, and I think he's capable of better as well. But nonetheless, a big win there for Yuma Ayagi, as he looks to establish himself as a main eventer in the promotion, and he's getting one step closer to that. And we do have a better match this time, and it's Mayu Iwatani, the always reliable, getting us a 78 rating for the match tonight, as Mayu Iwatani defeats Thunder Rosa in 10 minutes 14 with a bridging dragon suplex, and she individually got an 84 whilst Thunder Rosa got a 54, and this time the creative finish was a success. And yeah, we're just trying to build Mayu up now towards the Strong Style 60 show, where she will challenge the juggernaut Jordan Grace for the Women's Championship. And no sign of the champion tonight, but the challenger picks up a strong win over a veteran in the division. But next up, we move on to an 82 rated match, so we're back up to above the 80s now, as Pac has defeated LJ Cleary in 15 minutes 52 by submission with a brutalizer, this after blatantly cheating. So he has defeated LJ Cleary tonight, but only after underhanded tactics, of course. And yeah, we've now protected LJ heading into what will probably be a rematch at Strong Style 60, and there's a little bit of a backstory between these two that we'll sort of get to as the story continues. But for now, Pac has defeated Cleary, and got a 70 rating for himself, and LJ Cleary actually outperformed Pac tonight with a 71, and the A Long Time Coming storyline has started with this segment, so as I say, there's a bit of a backstory, so we'll get into that soon, and the Pac creative finish was a success as well. And as I say, 82 overall, so a solid match as we go in now to tonight's main event for the Strong Style Showdown, as Shun Skywalker has defeated Malachi Black in 15 minutes 20 by pinfall with an SSW, and the match was designed to steal the show, and I think they've done that by getting the best rating of the night as Shun Skywalker wins the Strong Style Showdown. And there should have been some distractions here, but it looks like I might have forgot to add them, but nonetheless we know that the Broken Hearts, as they're now known, were in and around ringside distracting Malachi, allowing Shun Skywalker to get the win tonight and become the 5th winner of the Strong Style Showdown. And Shun Skywalker there with an in-ring performance of 86. So I think the performance of the night, and Malachi Black there with a 59. And the creative finish was thankfully a success as well. And we've got some greens for tonight's main event, and a solid main event. Hopefully can take us to a high 70s show if all things fall into place for us. But we do have one more segment as Shun Skywalker stands in the middle of the ring laughing into the air as he finally wins his first major honor in Strong Style Americas. The Strong Style Showdown trophy is then carried into the ring by his followers as they drown him in love and affection. And then the strobe lights that we've seen over recent shows start again as the unbearable screech fills the arena. But suddenly anger fills Shun as he smashes the trophy off the mat until it breaks. He then screams, "Kevin Blackwood, I want more. They are the Broken Hearts, and they adore me." And then Skywalker goes to the top rope, reminiscent of last night's attack on Kevin Blackwood. This as the Broken Hearts hold Malachi Black's arms and legs to the mat. Shun hits an even more impactful Skywalker moonsault as Black writhes in pain before the Broken Hearts stand tall, gazing into the eyes of Shun Skywalker. So the love is here, and hate, more importantly, isn't here tonight, as they were taken out last night, and the Broken Hearts have made their first major impact in Strong Style Americas, guiding Shun Skywalker, the leader, to victory in the showdown. And the Revenge of Skywalker storyline has advanced with this segment and gained heat, which is great to see, and his performance apparently was fantastic as well. And Roosh was very underwhelming apparently, but that's fine. And the creative finish that we used, which was the Viano one that we got earlier, was a success. And 61, so not our best promo by any means, but it certainly does the job in terms of story. But let's find out then how we did overall in terms of rating. And we got a 74, so I think I'll take it. That's okay. That is our best show of the tour, at least. And of course, we do have those production penalties, which probably prevented us from getting towards the 80s there, but that's fine. And we increased our popularity in 45 regions, so everywhere but the Mid-South, or at least everywhere that we're shown. And we're going to praise Shun Skywalker tonight and Mayu Iwatani, because they were particularly good. And I think as well, Alex Kane, who also had a good performance. So we're going to tell them all that they're a great performance all round. And Shun Skywalker was very happy with the speech. Mayu Iwatani was happy with the speech. And Alex Kane was pleased. So that's actually 3 morale boosts there. So that's good. And overall for profit, we made $83,000, $940 change as well, as this continues to be a profitable tour on the night in terms of gate and everything else, but we've definitely lost a lot of money this month thanks to the production upgrades and the broadcast upgrades, and also of course the lower attendance for whatever reason. But hopefully next month we can bounce back and see our attendance return to the sort of 10,000 mark, but we'll have to see going forward. And we do see a lot of movement in terms of popularity after this major show, and I was wrong. We have gone up in the Mid-South, and you'll see there, I think for the first time, we've gone up by 2 in Mid-South, going from 60 to 62. And also we've got movement in the Midwest, Northwest, Southeast, Southwest, Tri-State, Puerto Rico and Hawaii, as well as movement all across Mexico as well. So a very successful show, and that sort of double jump there in the Mid-South could be because we're on a bigger broadcaster now after the upgrade. I'm going to have to just assume that's the case anyway. So that's definitely proven to be the right decision, especially in terms of our increased viewership. But let's see how much viewership we did have for this show by skipping forward. And actually, I forgot about that. We have the media scrum. I think this is our second one. And the first question is asking about Jordynne Grace not being on the show tonight. And apparently she's been public about being upset by this snub, which isn't ideal. And yeah, maybe we should always have our major stars on the show, but there was nothing for her tonight as we were looking at just kind of boosting Mayu. But what I'm going to say is it was just a little break, and she remains an important part of Strong Style, of course. And we recently made a news signing, Wardlow. What plans do you have for him? And honestly, he's about to leave because it was just a touring contract and this was the last show of the tour. But I'm going to say that he'll have to work his way up the ladder. And the response has gone down well with the locker room, which is good to see. And Strong Style's Showdown 2029 is being considered a success. How do you feel? And I'm going to say it was a good show, but we can still improve upwards and onwards. And you recently made a new signing, El Texano Jr. Do you have any plans for him? And I'm going to say the same, that he has to climb his way up the ladder, and it went down well with the locker room. So maybe that's the default answer going forward for that sort of question. So we'll have to try and remember that. And do you have any comments regarding Kenny Omega not being at Strong Style Showdown? He's been quite public about being upset about this snub. And actually, originally, Kenny was going to be in the match against Cash Wheeler, and that was going to be on the main card, but I decided against it just to protect Kenny from any potential injuries. But I'm going to say that he remains an important part of Strong Style. And CM Punk is noticeably extremely happy with life in Strong Style. How much credit do you take for this? And we might have to be careful about this one because he does have the prickly personality type. So let's take a look at all of the options. And I work hard to create a great atmosphere backstage, so this is no surprise. Or he's a favourite of mine. Careful man management is a vital skill when you're head booker of a company. It just goes to show how great life is in Strong Style. Or I'm glad he's having a good time in Strong Style. And I think we'll go with I'm glad he's having a good time. And the media scrum has been completed. So I might actually check to see CM Punk's morale and see if that was the right answer. Or maybe it would have popped up, but I'll see in just a second. And there's no good or bad come from that question in terms of his morale. So maybe that's not the right answer, but at least it's a neutral one. And we've got news that El Texano Jr., Claudio Castagnoli, Chris Brooks and Cash Wheeler have left the company. So has Minoru Suzuki as well. This, of course, after their touring contracts ended. And Wardlow is also gone as well. The incoming Stephanie Vaquer is also now fully fit after a recent injury. So she will be ready to go as soon as she comes into the door. And also Wardlow has now married Myla Moore, apparently. So good news for the former champion there, even though he's out of the door for us. And there is a big injury in the world of wrestling as Mascara Dorada, major star in CMLL and Ring of Honor, is injured and he's going to be out for over a year. And in terms of luchadors, he's certainly one of the best around. So that is a shame. Still only 27 though, so hopefully it doesn't damage his development too much. And once again, there is confirmation of Stephanie's injury being finished, and she's said to be in the best possible physical shape. And what I want to do before we end this episode is actually check a few things around the company. So the first thing I want to check is creative meeting following the Strong Style Showdown. And Mayu Iwatani is apparently our top star, followed by Kenny Omega, Shun Skywalker, Jordynne Grace and Malachi Black. So that includes the number one contender for the Women's Championship, the Women's Champion, and the two Strong Style Showdown finalists as well. So maybe we're justified in all of those decisions. And Kenny Omega is on there as well, somebody that we have to protect going forward, because as we've discussed before, he has 2% body health. One small botch in the ring could cost him his career, and we want to get him through to Strong Style 60. So I don't know how we're going to play it going forward, but I'm not sure if he's going to be wrestling any of the matches but that one. But as I say, we'll see, because I don't want him to end up getting rusty again. So I don't know. We'll play it by ear. We've still got no next big things, though, in terms of hot prospects on the permanent roster. Jackson Drake, Brent Backlund and Bojack are all on there. Talk the talk. So the best promos are CM Punk, Shinsuke Nakamura, Brent Backlund, Kenny Omega and AJ Mendez, who we still need to find a more permanent role for, I think. And showstoppers, so those that can take their in-ring performance to a whole new level, are Mayu Iwatani, as we know, Shun Skywalker, as we know, Roosh, Pac and Kenny Omega as well. So Omega is still up there. So he does still have the ability. It's just, I think, his physical health just isn't what it, of course, was in his prime. And ring generals, we've got Mayu Iwatani, Shun Skywalker, Alex Kane, Jordynne Grace and Yuma Ayagi. So I think them bottom three weren't on the list for showstoppers. So that's good to see that we've got a wide range of good in-ring performers. But we will go forward now to the end of the month and check our finances. It is not looking good for profit, but we'll see what the damage is in just a few days' time. Okay, so we are at the start of the brand new month then, and Lavaniel has now changed body type after we recently recently requested it, so it's finally gone through, and he's gone from toned to muscular, which will have helped his star quality. So let's find out how much of a difference it's made. So he was on 73 and it's gone up to 75, so a small improvement there, and that will definitely help him in his career going forward, slightly at least. But let's find out how we did financially then, and we lost $1.2 million, as of course we spent a fortune on upgrades for production, but more than that, we upgraded our broadcast facilities as well. So if we go to media, you can see there we spent $990,000 on that upgrade in the United States. And what that says as well is if this attendance does continue, we would have still lost money, which is a little bit worrying, but I'm confident we will bounce back. So if we look at the attendance for Strong Style Showdown 29, and throughout this month actually, we've been under 5,000, where typically, if we go to the month before, our main show got 14,000, nearly 15,000 there, and we were selling out 10,000 arenas in the tour shows and propaganda as well. And let's quickly check viewership, and we are up by almost 50,000 from night 3 with our main show, drawing in a total of 204,986 viewers, by far our most viewed show, and double that of Strong Style 58, which before the broadcast upgrade was our most viewed show yet. So huge stuff there. But in terms of attendance, I think we will return to that this month, which I'm almost tempted to find out now whether we will by going forward to propaganda. But I think we're just going to leave this episode here, as I think it's a good way to end with a new winner of the Strong Style Showdown, and we'll find out in the next episode whether there's anything to be alarmed about when it comes to those attendances. But there you can see Shun Skywalker is the 5th winner of the Strong Style Showdown, joining the likes of Kevin Blackwood, who's won it twice, Viano Free Jr. and Alex Kane. So a very elite list of names there, topped off by our most recent trophy holder and trophy destroyer. But let me know what you thought of today's episode and this year's Strong Style Showdown for the year 2029, and make sure you drop a like on this video as we look for 400 likes if you want to see this continued as a weekly series, and head over to Patreon as well, where you can gain access to a whole bunch of save points from throughout this series. But until next time, peace.